I guess we're live. Just don't.
I guess we're live.
Yep, just checking on my end. Yep, just had to double check on my end. Did they put the wrong way out?
Got Crash Bash up there.
Yeah.
This is the sequel to Crash Bash.
Yeah. Anyway, good evening, everybody, or good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm Mageius1, joined by EBC, otherwise known as...
Eat Bloody Candy. Hello again.
Thanks again to the admin for helping provide commentary. Anyway, this is... I'm not even going to try to pronounce the Japanese title, but Super Dimensional Fortress Macross for the PS2. Otherwise, I just shortened it to Macross for the PS2. Now, before we get started, I want to explain a little bit ahead of time. You see, I'm currently using our Valkyrie, that's our transforming fighter. It's got 3 different forms. The fighter, the Gearwalk here, otherwise known as a Guardian for those who've ever seen Robotech, because this is what the first part is based off of. And then you have the Battle Wave here. I could go into all details on some stuff, but I want to first explain one small thing to you. We do this in the flight mode for easy, because stuff like this is a thing, and trying to make sure during this high action-packed combat, you don't suddenly have to deal with things, and it's already a thing in 2/3 of the modes, so trying to make it a bit easier for everybody is just a thing. Now, I'm going to quit out of this mission to make it easier for you all. Also, I've got to double check, make sure I've got everything correct on that one. I've also got to reach over, do the first piece attack, grab my PS2 memory card, and slowly pull it out of the system. Then put it on a desk. Because we don't want to accidentally do anything with that one. This will be for the RMD storyline. And timing will start, I guess, as soon as I hit the X button, because this is on console and trying to remember the differences between Japanese and US as far as just stuff goes. But anyway, let's get started in a 3, a 2, a 1, and let's go. So, see, you want to talk about some of the stuff while I skip through text?
Yeah, absolutely. So Mage is going to be going through here with the ARMD storyline, which is actually based off of the first movie here of Macross. Do you remember Love? And Macross was actually was the basis of the first part of Robotech franchise, which is a franchise that is heavily known for its music and a huge impact of the transforming mech genre of anime, as this was released in 1981. So what we're going to see here in Mission 1 is that Mage is going to start off flying with his wingman, and basically once the first group of enemies start to spawn in, we're going to go into the Guardian form. And what we're going to do is we're going to... Yep.
Most of the community, just as long as you don't call it a Veritech from Robotech, most of the community is happy, just call it a Valkyrie.
And then, so what we're going to do is that once they start to come in line here, we're gonna fly a bit backwards here and target them, because we want to use our light missiles to get the spread across for them. We can kill as many as we can. If some of the stranglers do get a bit closer, we will flip over to the Battleoid and do a single target takedown with the machine gun. There will be a few waves going through this process here.
I'll also point out story-wise, it's the day, basically the day that, hold on, I gotta get just in range for it. Gotta back up some. Essentially, it's the day of the Super-Dimensional Fortress Macross, the SDF-1's launch. It's been 10 years since the end of a global war that ended in a single night. For those that wonder how that's possible, well, alien ship crash land on Earth. I think that sort of would end any type of war. Wouldn't you agree?
I mean, I would hope it will. I would hope it would end our conflicts. Obviously, we'd have other conflicts we'd have to deal with.
That's what I said. And when you have stuff like this, it's just easier to swap to this, use our machine gun as well as our head cannon. Some updates, gotta get to the target location. Since we've cleared all the enemies, we have to go down into the streets. Our main character for this one is known as Eddie. I don't remember his last name, but in the movie, this is basically a retelling of the original show, which has been shortened down on that one to fit into movie format. But as I said, it's been about 10 years since the war ended. You can see right below me that giant spaceship there is the Super-Dimensional Fortress. Otherwise, there's the SDF-1. As I said before, since the war ended in a single night, islands rode up to study it, they rebuilt it, and the day that everything came out, the Zentradi, they were the aliens who the ship originally belonged to, came to Earth. Now you're down fighting into the city. You'll see me basically use Battleoid a lot because trying to actually target is a pain, since we have no real targeting.
Yeah, so what you're going to see here, obviously Mage is going to take the air quite a bit, faster traversing time, and using Guardian there to get a little bit of target, get a bit of that AoE spread with the missiles too. Also, getting missiles onto one-on-one can be quite helpful as well. But as we get closer or get into that single target combat system, we're going to flip over to that Battleoid transform and take on what we can close up with head cannon and our gun.
Yeah, it's basically the Valkyrie. Well, the Falcon, I believe, is the term that's used in Gundam. So, for those that follow Gundam, you probably know what I mean. Come on, gotta go up here. If more enemies coming in, we're going to just take them out as they come in. Because we have to just protect the ship for now. And because we can fly backwards, actually using our Valkyrie as a sort of floating missile platform, because a chunk of the enemies do not break off stuff until they get to us. So the fact that we can just keep going backwards sort of means they won't leave formation.
Yep, that was a big reason at the start of Mission 1 here as to why Mage flew backwards when we started encountering those waves, It's because if they don't break formation, we can go into that Guardian form and target on with our light missiles to get that spread on, and it gives a better chance of just knocking them all out before they break off, because when they start to break off, we're going to have to go into Battleloid to retarget and swap back and forth a bunch. But here we have... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's because there's really no auto-targeting with this except in Battleloid, because swapping to that will immediately turn us to the nearest target, for that what it means we do not have to retarget.
Yeah, and what we saw there is that we saw Mageius there go in and used the heavy missiles for the bosses as well too. In the top right corner of the screen, you can see that whenever they flip over to Guardian, they do have a set amount of missiles that they are allowed to use. There are refills along the way, but for the sake of simplicity right now, they do have a limited amount of missiles they can use, and this is going to come into effect much later on when we have to deal with missile efficiencies as well. So
yes, and for this one, story-wise, the SDF-1 has essentially made what's known as a hyperspace fold. So basically, it had to get out of there, took part of the island with it. This is where you can start to see where one of the interesting things about Macross differs. It's very for actually showing the home front side of war. For those Gundam fans out there, it's not as dark as something like War in the Pocket, but at the same point, it does show, how the war can affect people on the home front to some degree, because you don't have to defend a lot of civilians.
yeah, so the point here in Mission 2 is this is essentially an auto-scroller. What our main purpose here is to defend the SDF-1 until the time does run out. There's going to be a ton of transformation here soon with a lot of just retargeting. As you can see, Mage is doing a really nice job hanging back and getting them hitting them while they're grouped up, but eventually there's going to be a bit of a swarm. And you can kind of see in the radar in the bottom right corner, there's just a lot happening, there's a lot going on right now, so.
And we just need to be able to take them out as fast as possible. Use all the missiles we can. Just keep the Macross health bar, which you can see below my health bar, the upper left-hand corner, just alive. Fun fact, we also have the camera, the auto camera turned off, and that's because of the whole fact that if we did not, when we launched for missile volleys, you would see the actual camera zoom in and show those intending missile trails. We also noticed that you will never see me do anything like that using the ultimate camera angles, because they disorient us anyway, and they do not help with where we are or how enemies are hit.
Right. Also, you might need to correct me if I'm wrong, but there are fighter bots in this stage that do take 2 missiles to blow up, while most other enemies will just take the 1 light missile, correct? Especially if there's a smaller type of mech.
Yeah, you can usually determine the difference with the color of the health bar. So essentially, you do not want the SDF-1 to get hurt. And I will mention one thing about the Zentradi, and one of the reasons why, at least for the original music, is so important. It's not only is it a pillar of the franchise no matter what, but it's also a major story point in how the Zentradi basically become more human. And by that I mean they were basically 50 feet tall. This is why we have battle shape, but it's also because of the fact of all they knew before coming to Earth was war. They did not think that music, they had some culture, but not as much. It's things like war, love, music, and a lot of other things that helps make them become more human. Which is why music becomes very important. They can also shape down to our size, and although we would see that piece of it, it is important to note that.
Yeah, so here, while we're in this stage here, like we talked about missile efficiency, having to go, was it 150 to 200 seconds, defending this SDF, wanting to use those missiles as a long-range barrage to hit them before they break out of formation, or hit them while they're still kind of grouped up as they're flying in, is a huge deal. And you may think, wow, 500 missiles, light missiles is a lot. I mean, you can kind of chunk through them quite a bit if things don't line up the way they need to. So, but Mage is doing a fantastic job just blasting through this.
Like you can just start seeing that this is how much I'm going through right now. Also, got it through there, just make sure you don't survive. It won't be the cleanest thing, but it will be good enough. Now, timing for this game is done in both RTA and in IGT, in-game time. That's basically because it's got a good timer, but for those that don't want to go through and add up all the different times, you can just throw it up there and we'll go with that one. So it's sort of a give and take on how much you want to do on that one.
Yeah, so here we're gonna blast into mission number 3 here. It's gonna have a very similar feel, at least in the first half of this mission, to mission 1, where Mage is gonna want to try and weaken a lot of the enemies here at the start. Because eventually we're gonna have to go inside of the ship. We want to try and get as much as we can damaged out here immediately. That way we can, as we're getting closer to the midpoint of this mission, we can just knock them down and just go right into it.
Not just that, but also we do not have access to our missions while inside. Because, would you want to destroy the inside of a ship, while you're inside of it? Sort of like, anybody besides me seen episode 1? And by that I mean Star Wars. The going inside and just, destroying the, J racing ship, if I recall correctly.
So yeah, so what Mage is talking about, so once we get inside here, like they said, there ain't gonna be no missiles. There's also no radar either, so we will need to find things. We will need to find mechs and enemies manually in that process. So the next part, if you like the Battleloid, that is Battleloid Central right there.
Yes, pretty much, because it is just easier to find them going in like that versus trying to actually find them. Since if you can't find them, it's really like hard to actually just be able to take them out as fast as possible. You see here, swapping to there, we take that out and kill out most of the enemies. So in here is doing well. Just hasn't been promoted yet, but like do it better. So now we're into the second part of the mission.
デルタ1よりアポロ小隊各機へ敵戦闘小隊が艦内に侵入直ちに帰還して
Unlike the other time, we do actually get to see them on the map. Speaking of the storyline for this one, where you don't get to see them.
Oh, sure, okay.
Because that one's like 3 different sections late into the run, and when you can't see them, you know, having to go around for that one. Developers being nice for us.
So yeah, here, like I said, we're gonna be using Battleloid for a lot of this. You're gonna see a bit of some flipping between weapons, between the machine gun and the head cannon, just to get the damage out and just get them down faster.
I might add, for those wondering, this is on PS2, to describe just like where this is all mapped for the buttons. Shoulder buttons for the transformation. The L2 is to transform to Battleloid, except if you're in Battleloid, it is also your target lock. And the buttons for fire and the secondary are basically circle and square. So right now I'm legitimately holding in like 4 different buttons to be able to do this smoothly.
Yeah, they showed me the button or the controller layout before we went live, and it was wild. Let's just say that.
But it's also one of those things that these type of things help you with getting better overall and good for a lot of different things. And we just saved the SDF1.
Right, that is end of mission 3. Not the last time we'll be inside of a ship, but
Yes, as the 3-2 says in there, they did just put out one. It is the first game that has been released internationally, at least for the PC. I already have it. There's leaderboards up already for it, and I've just got to keep working on adding to that.
nice. Awesome.
Although I've got the Switch version, which is not out yet, well, overseas yet, but they're supposedly working. It also got announced for an international release, but you can pick it up now on Steam if you don't mind not having the English yet. Anyway, from here we're in the cat's eye, so checking out some readings, and you'll see we use only like a handful of missiles here.
Yeah, so like what we talked about earlier is missile efficiency. So this is missile explosion now is going to come into a pretty heavy play here to help take down the enemies and kind of get that AoE charge going into there. We do want to save our missiles for the latter part of the stage.
Speed up part of it by flying a bit too far, but it's okay. It means one to two less missiles for the boss. But also, fun fact, the boost button when you're a fighter is also the R2, so if I accidentally hit L2, I automatically transform into Battleloid. Although I could also use X, but at the same point, it's like a whatever works type thing.
Yep. We'll also notice too, in between stages, Mage isn't mashing mostly the face button, because they talked about taking out the memory card before the run started. Is that if you were to hit circle, which is the face button on a PS2 controller, it would start to save the game. And if you've never saved a game on a PS2, it takes about 5 years to save anything. So even though triangle is ultimately mashing through the text here, just gotta be real careful of when we're mashing through that stuff.
Yeah, because you can also circle also lets you get through stuff faster, so mashing both sometimes helps, get that one frame sooner. But we got 15 missiles, doing alright. Get to this target here. If anyone's got any questions in chat, feel free to ask them. And yes, to point out in chat, yes, the Shoot a Good site, Macross Shoot a Good site, it is on Steam. It does not have the, it's still in Japanese, but there is that's been announced for an actual English localization later in the year. But sadly at present there's no plans for the DLC outside of Japan. So it is on PC, for that one you have to have the Japanese Steam account in order to be able to use it. Or to be able to get the DLC outside of Japan.
I didn't know there was Japanese Steam accounts. I just thought it was all just whatever.
It is whatever, but it's the country that you're registered as being in.
Oh, sure. Okay, that makes sense. So what we're gonna see on this boss fight, you saw that Mage was flying very far away from the boss, and what they were doing that was to shoot missiles at them from afar, basically unload on them. And now that we're getting into this essentially second phase of this fight, Mages want to get really close to them to go into Battleloid to use the gun to take them down.
It's also because you don't get any extra things, so it's trying to actually get there as much as possible. It's circle strafing around it. And I just died at the final hit of the boss. Well, rip run. Not really on that one. It's just a pain for that one. Clutch for the boss. But it doesn't matter. In this one, I'd have to actually adjust figure out the difference for the time loss in that one. But I doubt this will be a PB. But even so, it's nice enough to be able to show it off.
Well, there we go. If you double KO, you don't get the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, at least it's not as bad as something like Mega Man X, where if you double KO on the final boss, soft lock.
Or just play the first level a bunch of times. But yeah,
Oh, no, you can
I haven't
do
played
that
Mega Man X in a while.
You can even do that on the first level. Because guess who found that soft lock existed for the community? No joke, that actually is a thing that can happen. You can die at the
That's
same
wild.
time. Vile would grab you, and if that happens, you soft lock the same way as if you would have died to Sigma.
That's wild.
It's actually weird that not a lot of people know that as much, but still. I do have to say, one of the nicest things about Shooting Insight is all the music that is in the game.
Yeah, I will say this game in particular, I'm obviously not a runner of the game, but watching the runs of this to get ready for today's show, for today's run, the music in this game is absolutely just phenomenal. It's some of the best music I've heard, especially in a PS2 game.
It's the fact that it's what the franchise is known for. I mean, voice actress for Mid-May, who is the idol character for this show, this particular one of the idols for the franchise, actually helped launch one of the virtual idol things back in the 80s. And Do You Remember Love actually made it into the Japanese, it was their pop charts in the top 50, I think? I'd have to double check that, but yeah. And we're flying. We're flying. Getting to the target as fast as we can. We got 14 missiles left, so it should be good for the boss. A tiny bit rusty, but at the same point, there we go.
Alright, so Mage has 14 missiles that they're going to launch into this boss. And by 14 missiles, there are no more. There's going to be no more missiles real soon. So now it's getting next to the boss, getting nice close and personal again, and flipping to Battle Lloyd to get into that gun stance there. And obviously, as the boss is going to be strafing, we're going to have to flip back and forth to kind of keep up with him. But
yeah, present for this one, it's more about just trying to lock one hand, just slowly strafe around them, not letting them get too far away, and avoiding their damage. At least this game is a little bit more forgiving than the latest game, Shooting Insight, where the developers deliberately, in a spot, you have no help, you have no actual healing except for the other missions.
that's rough.
Not just that, but you have, you can continue as much as you want, you just have the one life. And if you die, well, this is why the speedrun allows it to be the auto recovery, which you get a little bit of health every now and then, to be allowed. Because I deliberately wanted to make sure, you didn't have to be a top SMUP runner to actually compete in the game.
Alright, so mission 4 down, we go into mission 5. We're going inside of a ship again. there might be a chance we use missiles in here, depending on the layout of, or the given pattern of enemies here. But again, a lot of times you're going to see Battleoid. This segment here that Mage is going through is precision flying. Essentially, we're going inside of this ship, and we get to a certain area, and it kind of it reactivates. And we have to get out.
The enemies are basically playing awesome /dead /take a pick on that one. So it's more about just getting more precise and getting to where we need to go. You'll see me on occasion swap to the Battleoid to actually fix where I am, or you'll see me actually swap to Fighter during the straightaways because it is faster to use Fighter. But as you can clearly see, just like how hard it is to control it in Fighter mode. So did I line this up perfectly? Got the somewhat time saved, but and we're in here. Oops. And we made it to the center. But that's why I said for for shooting inside the latest game, I highly recommend it. I've got a small tutorial on my channel about different ways to improve it. And shoutouts to one of my favorite characters in that one, Shin, who is from the prequel series. Although it's only an OVA set, he actually ends up being great for the speedrun. The one show that has the most combat would have the character that's got the best attack in the game. And now we are required to take out every enemy in here before it continues, so you'll see me legitimately try to zoom in, get as much close as I can, avoid all the attacks, because getting up close and personal with fighter pods is not something I think any of us want to deal with.
No.
It's also trying to make sure that I do not get turned around, because I wasn't joking when I said you can get a little bit turned around here. Like this, for example. They give you enough generous time to get out, but again, trying to control stuff in a tight space. For all those out there that have done third-person shooters or done speedruns or playing games where you have stuff in a confined space, you sort of know how hard it is to actually optimally do that. And as so easy and I wait for it. What was the term I used for getting out of here?
Actually, I didn't write it down either. You think I'd write stuff like that?
It essentially was, once you get to the point, get the hell out. Just get the hell out as fast as possible.
Get the hell out, yeah. But obviously we have hurdles along the way where we have to kill everything in each room that we do encounter before we can progress, so get the hell out, but also kill everything in sight.
Yes, and try not to screw up movement. When you basically told him it's precision flag, you're not joking just to try to build up tension.
No, I mean, just watching, having to jump through, either Battleoid Guardian to resort yourself, then hop it into Fighter to hit the straightaways. It's just,
I mean, I could do it with...
there's so much.
Wow, you could make the multiple Macross fight. Well, jeez. Story-wise, we've managed to struggle our way after being launched to Saturn. We've managed to struggle our way after several months to Mars. Which, as you can tell, apparently, one of the things that humanity was able to make with it, because of everything going on, was able to actually create a base on Mars. Now, we are stuck in a version of the Battleoid right now. Basically in what is essentially just purely getting rid of as many enemies as you can, while also trying to manipulate use of proper missiles and trying to not screw up, because you cannot hover in this thing. So we are in an alternate play environment using what is essentially flood from Super Mario's Sunshine while trying to attack. But that
I'll say flood from Halo, but yeah, that works too. So what we're gonna see here, you know, like Mage was saying, we're in a heavy armor version of the Battleoid. If you look at the top right corner, you can see that we have, you know, all the options available to us here. A big thing that we're going to really want to focus on here is enemy explosion for a bit of that splash and AoE damage going on here, which is you just saw right there in the background.
Not just that, but we also have to protect the Macross. And since we cannot fly, our missiles, our boost is purely to stay high. So we're having to, I guess, to use the old Toy Story term, fall with style.
I mean, I fall with style pretty often, but this thing's style is a lot more stylish than me.
Yep, it is. And again, we're just trying to take out as many enemies as we can as fast as we can for the second part. Although we do get some nice movements like this, and being able to turn sideways and roll. Go forward, look backwards.
敵増援部隊発見。12時方向から高速接近中。重攻撃機と思われます。アポロ小隊は直ちに帰還。マクロス艦隊にて敵攻撃機を迎撃してください。
All the franchise, well, not one, the Eurocheck franchise, if that's the only way you can watch it, but I highly recommend all of it. Also, shout out to Disney Plus, because this is all coming out later in the year. To North America finally. Now, finally switching to use our heavy missiles here. Because these enemies here actually do have a lot of health and you do want to take them out. So notice they will fly out of bounds and inbounds. So we certainly want to position ourselves perfectly to be able to use our missiles properly on certain enemies while making sure we get rid of the larger enemies.
Yeah, and with the lock-on thing, you can see, you know, with the crosshairs, so to speak, on them, and the red rectangles going around it, you can see the lock-on and the missiles about to go to that target as well, too, or in this case, the machine gun.
Because being able to control things fast is all part of the job.
That guy's having a bad day stuck in the alleyway.
Yep. Sucks and had to stop and take it off, but
That was in the wrong part of town.
I've got to be able to actually manipulate where I am, how I am moving, as well as just like my thrusters on this one, because you notice down at the bottom just like what I'm using to be able to move. Basically, I cannot stay in the air that much.
Yeah, so this stage here is a prime example as to why you saw early, like we mentioned a few times now in the previous stages, doing that backfly and shooting those light missiles out before they break off, because we can see how much transforming, how much retargeting, and just movement in general just needs to be done for one-on-one combat here. And imagine doing that with, you know, the 20 mechs that come at you per wave. So.
Yep, which is why, as I said, it's more about just precisely making sure you've got things lined up and more precisely just setting up things to be perfect. For another attack, we're going to load up this. Not up less, but finish it off just so. Here. Now it's getting close. Gonna lock that. Fire some more missiles at it. Right now it's more about me making sure that the SDF-1 does not die versus myself, because I have more health than them right now.
Yep. Yeah, the thing we're worried about right now is the Macross. So you can see the Macross health bar below our main one on the top left corner there.
You can see it's getting lower than that one. They're not the cleanest mission 6. As long as we don't die, it's good. Because this is the type of mission where you just want to survive. Because we really don't get that many checkpoints here.
Macross, 浮上します。
To answer a question in chat, this does have some more jokish style units to some degree. I mean, I guess you could call it the, God, what is it? The trainer thing is sort of a joke on that one, and there's a few others. The cat's eye, I'd call it a bit of a joke because it's really not that useful. Anyway, we finally made it back to Earth. Story-wise, Roy, the command of Skull Squadron, has died, heroically saving everybody on that one. But, story-wise, yeah, we made it back to Earth. They told us to go. They basically said, get the hell out of here. Because it turns out these probably weren't after Earth. They were just after the ship. And so, since they left, they really haven't had any problems.
Yeah, so what we saw here in Mission 7, or what we saw at the start here so far of Mission 7, is that Mage immediately transformed into Guardian to get into that light missile format there. As you can see, they're all very well formatted up and grouped up right now, which is supremely, it's perfect for all these light missiles. To get them out and get them taken down. And any stragglers that are coming in, we flip over to Battle Lloyd, take them out one at a time, and just punch through with that. What we want to do, though, is we really want to save our missiles and our heavy missiles heavily for the bosses in this.
Yes, as one's a dogfight, and the other one is a giant laser. Lots of few of those. We'll see we launch a couple of the heavy missiles, but we'll also be trying to avoid getting that.
Another thing too, Mage is really wanting to be reserved on their health as well too, because this stage there's two bosses. We're fighting boss number 1 right now. When we go into fight 2 or boss number 2, hopefully we have enough health just to be able to tank a lot of the armaments that are coming at us, so we can get the boss down very quickly. So that's another thing that we need to be very wary of as well.
Yep, and you also see me swapping back and forth between all 3 modes, so I can essentially keep an auto target now, while also avoiding some of the damage and hitting it close so that they can pick out some more damage faster. So you launching like anti-air missiles here, anti-air missiles there. Quickly engaging, swap into that one. Getting some circle slafing. Get a bit of a health refill between things, but at the same point, it's not a full health refill.
Right.
So we're seeing stuff here. Firing my guns with that one. Also taking out, I'm also using the embedded guns to take out the enemy missiles.
So here we're gonna fly very high up, very high up now.
And you can start to see the ship appear there. By the way, I have to admit, one of the fun. Do you want to read the last comment in chat about Mario Paint?
Last comment in chat. Oh, there it is. We need a marathon where Ant makes all the art in Mario Paint. True, actually. I don't think Ant would get very far with a Mega Man X background. He only knows the first stage, but...
Now, you notice that I at least got some health back, but I didn't really get as much of a missile refill.
Yeah, so here what we're doing is that we're flying up here. We want to take out all of the excess flying that we have, the flyers that we have around us right now, before we can get into get to that ship. Again, needing to dodge any type of attack that comes at us. Need to make sure that we maintain a decent amount of health for this this next boss.
Yep. And you'll all understand real soon. See the giant nation there? We've got to take that out. So we want to first and foremost boost up as high as we can, because we now have to get towards the target. As it comes into range. Make sure we're not auto-target, because if we do, we automatically have to now reorient ourselves again. So close. Luckily, we had a save point. Essentially, with this one, I'll directly on the second part of it.
Yep. Yeah, we have full health now too, so.
Yes. We still got to play through the first part again. But then again, my estimate is for these possible things to happen. We, of course, don't want to die, but again, if it happens, it happens. I'm going to add a death here and then one on the tie. On positions also.
here, just quickly pop it into battle mode, just to get them out single target when they get close in like that. As they get far away, we pop into Guardian.
And also so I can
shoot off some missiles.
Targets without having to fly around and target everything. Because keeping up the damage as fast as possible is quite essential if you want to go fast. And we got through the first part again. We have to sit through this cutscene again. And now we want to swap here. Again, we'll fly up. Boosting forward, boosting up. This is just so that way we can get to the target as fast as possible. Because avoiding missiles on that one. And then with this one, we want to slip or straight swap between missiles. You can just start to see like how fast you can just start to be able to pick out what you can start taking damage. Fun fact, you could actually see this enough to actually ride a PS2.
Alright. Ship is blown up, now we gotta get the heck out of there.
Oh no.
Oh no. Another thing too with that fight is once you've hit the final hit, it's not technically over. As you just saw, you can also get hurt by your own explosion as well too.
Yeah.
So once we hit that final hit, and we gotta get the hell out immediately.
Yes. It's been a long time since I've had a few deaths in a run, but at the same point, last minute is purely to cover any possibilities of that. Because it does happen every now and then, but at the same point, you can all, with any execution style speedrun, by that I mean like skill versus glitches and other stuff, it can happen. And
oh yeah, 100%.
It's like, what's your safety? Having more time.
Yeah.
I know a lot of speedrunners that will try to have like the perfect run, and that's one thing I highly encourage people to try different speedruns. Heck, even try doing a speedrun if they find a game that no one's done a run of that is interesting. I mean, that's how this speedrun came to be.
Yeah, I always try to tell people that are going into marathons, it's like, well, I can't reset, I can't do this. It's like, you know what? You're going into a marathon, like, practice some marathon safety strats, if your game allows for it. Like, the game super well, like, now you have to take that knowledge and apply it, like, you can't reset in a marathon, you can't just, give up and walk away. You gotta finish it out,
Yep.
Make it the less painful as possible if you need to. But sometimes that means going a bit slower.
And also remember, marathon runs are meant to be fun for the viewers. It's to show off your skills.
Right.
So it's like me screwing up my movements. That's all good fun. All just as I said about just like how the controls are for this game. This one here where we want to strike everywhere we can, swapping between missiles. All types of missiles. And that should, yes, that'll do it.
There we go.
And now we have protected the Earth for now. Not the cleanest, but not the worst. And of course,
the Earth wasn't destroyed, so.
And we are now on the final stage of the mission. Of the game, which is one of the longest, but since the SCF-1 is transformed, weird how out protecting Earth. Well, that one alongside some of the Centrati that. Remember how I said about music being, warp not being the only solution and stuff like that? Well, they got to hear some music, they got to hear some other stuff, and started realizing that as well. So, some of them decided, hey, these humans, or as they call us, like Kronians, are right. Fighting isn't the only thing we are meant for. There's love, there's art, there's music, there's a lot of different things, and essentially they decided to join us.
Yeah, so here in Mission 8, final mission, final boss coming up here. We are defending Earth, and there is a lot of enemies that we need to kill before we even want to progress into this stage here.
Yep. This is why you also see me using a lot of missiles and also retargeting when I can. But you also notice that I've got an interesting icon where my secondary missiles would be. Those are super missiles or mega missiles, however you want to call it that. Essentially, they are something very good, but we have a limited number of them.
Yep, and we're going to use them for the boss fight.
Yep. The other thing we have to be conscious of is not to have our auto target default to the enemies that we can take out normally. Just like that. We'll get a full refill during the second part, but we want to try to take all the enemies out. We're approaching this final thing here. There we go.
Like one more enemy? Yep.
Yep. Now we get to sit back and listen to the theme song for the film, Do You Remember Love? Sung by the Macross, the Super Dimensional Fortress Macross series idol, Min Mei. Which, spoilers, you all should like it. This is one of the things that makes this a very good run. Some of the exclusives here. By the way, just look at that shot. We'll have the giant asteroid ship come up. Try to target some of the things to get some stuff in. Also avoiding the giant explosions of those. As we just clearly see how much it's taking out off of the enemies just off of a single hit.
Yep. It's like wiping off like a side of the screen for us, so.
Yes. Also, hopefully you all are enjoying the music. One of the very big pieces of the franchise as a whole. I mean, so say hi to lag. Normally it's nice laggy, depending on subjects, but it can be using missiles to great effect to get rid of that. If this was the other storyline, I would have to be cognizant of where and when you've got the stuff for it. Anyway, we're approaching the final boss here. Macross protecting Earth. This scene is unskippable. Of course, the SDF one can also transform. He's not outside, but he is in front of a giant window. And you can see the Zentradi that are on our side of the Earth. It's not as many as you would like, but at the same point, it's just like how they have learned to start fighting and defending for things. Really? Apparently, 32 apparently in the SNES game, which is based off, I believe, the second of the series. Apparently, the final boss turns into a dragon.
Macross!
But we're creating an opening, salute, transform into that one. I can't understand the Japanese on this one, but tone of voice is like, especially with the Spartan music, like the love, come home. By the way, say hi to Lisa. The character from the original series, Rick's wife from that one. Nice to those that actually know that one. Anyway, we're going in. I love the original jam that I found for this one. For the description of the boss. Oh, no, this is why. Also, you see them, being annoyed at that one, but say hi to Andros.
Can't let you do that, Star Fox.
Now we have to get the surrounding targets from there. So, we have to hover up. Multi-target ellipses of these, like rocking around where I come as fast as I can.
While dodging just that absolute, just insane barrage of muscles, so.
Yep. Got rid of that one. We really want to target on. Go to Guardian, slash Block, and just immediately start second switching. Because we don't want to deal with it at all.
I swear that it's just wild.
We don't want to take damage if we can, so we want to avoid enemy as much as we can. And try to just lessen its missiles, hitting full volleys here. By the way, timing for RGO is coming up with a little bit, so people die. Luckily, we do get a checkpoint here. This is why my estimate is what it is.
At least the checkpoints, you know, the boss room and not having to go through the cutscene or anything like that again, so.
Manually target it, and that's a pain. Boost up a little bit so I can go higher. So that way I can avoid getting attacked suddenly. Because, again, I want to avoid some of the attacks. Slowly hover. And just simply stretch a little bit here and there. Giving some of the damage here. As I said, it's all about just giving some full use of volleys here and there. That's because they deal a lot of damage. But you're all getting a chance to listen to this amazing music. I will show one thing off. This is why we have this turned off. Just for some fun. This is why. Because
oh no!
You can see exactly why, like, we have it turned off.
Missile cinematics.
Also, that's time for RTA. Oops. And sadly, we have to skip the credits. Sorry, all. YouTube copyright for some reason. Not my best work, not my worst work. It's definitely not a PB. Because I'd have to add up all the other times, but overall...
That was an awesome run.
Yes, it was. Thanks again for letting me show it off.
Thanks for submitting. This thing was awesome.
As I said, I literally we allow emulators for those that actually can handle a PS2 emulator because it's IGT. So if anybody wants to check it out, it's like this, and the Prometheus storyline runs are quite good. I highly recommend checking out the Macross franchise, especially for any of you that have. Especially for anybody that has a subscription to Disney Plus. It is coming, most of the actual series is coming later in the year, and I still highly recommend it. Great music, just great franchise, and it's storied for a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm actually have to check that out. Is that going to be like? Is that going to include everything? What we just saw here with Macross, and then all the other pieces of the franchise that come along with it too, and the movies, or is it just pieces of it for now, and then later will get released?
Most of it. The only thing I think you're not getting is Do You Remember Love in the original, because that was part of the deal with Harmony Gold and Robotech, because reasons. But
because reasons.
Well, fun fact, for those that have ever looked up the anime gif of a person eating a leaf, that is one of the idols and actually one of the pilots from Macross 7. No, wait, or was it Macross Plus? I forget which. I think it's 7 though. But yeah, that is from that one. So you've all at least known a little bit of Macross, though I believe in that one they also basically the battle is well the Valkyries actually use music to attack things. I'm not joking. This franchise is fun and it really does go like they've had a virtual idol. They've had a entire cavalry, basically a troop of healing nurses. They've done a lot of things on that one. By that way, the nurses was actually stuff on the battlefield. Again, highly recommended. Anyway, I'll get out of you guys. I'll get out of your all's hair so that way you can pass along to the next run.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for letting me commentate. This was awesome. Again, a really awesome run. So. Also,
remember, if any of you would like to follow me, it's twitch.tv/Mageius1. For those Macross fans out there, I've got some good gameplay of the newest game, as I've got it on the Switch, and highly recommend that one. As I said, if you know how to get it, through Steam or that, it's fun. It's not the best, but it definitely helps show interest on that one. Anyway, I'll head out whenever they say to.